July 2008, Sebastian Vettel signs for Red Bull. From that day on, the rest was unbelievable history. Hi guys, JT here, and I'm here to talk about Sebastian Vettel's Red Bull career. From 2009 to present day, he's been absolutely phenomenal, stamped his authority in Formula 1, an absolute legend in the sport. He'll be remembered for many years to come, even if he doesn't do well with his next team, wherever he'll be. But, you know, what he's achieved with Red Bull is phenomenal. I'm not a Red Bull fan myself, but, you know, seeing Vettel win races, Vettel dominate here and there, it has been boring to watch. But when you look back at it now, you think, you know, that is something I can reflect on him while watching Formula 1. You know, like when Senna was dominating, Schumacher was dominating, you look back at it and you go, you know, I lived through that. I was there. I watched them races. And, like, if someone else were to, like, dominate and follow him, you'd be like, oh, I don't want to win. I don't want him to win. I don't want this team to win. Then you look back at it and go, you know, I lived through that. That was my time. So yeah, David Coulthard retires from Formula 1 in 2008. Sebastian Vettel replaces him. He's going to be with Mark Webber. And who knew that this would be a very, very dominant partnership? You know, very rivalry. Not so as championship rivalry, but sort of like teammate battle, where like Turkey 2010 type, Britain 2011, Multi 21, Brazil 2012, you know, Malaysia 2013. Who can forget Malaysia 2013? Yeah, so he's been through a lot of Red Bull, but you know, you look back at it and you think that was my era. I lived through that. If you lived through Schumacher and Vettel at the same time, then you look at, and Senna as well. You know, you've lived through it all. So yeah, 2009 started, Sebastian Vettel's first race with Red Bull. If you remember that, I wasn't really into Formula 1 at this stage. I can't really remember this race. But what I can say is about the crash that he had with Robert Kubica, that pretty much ended his race, his first race for Red Bull. I mean, who knew that his first race for Red Bull was the DNF? It's not very often you hear about that from 2009 to 2013. Really, 2014 was sort of different. 2013, you know, Sebastian Vettel DNF. It's not heard of anymore. But yeah, his first race sort of came in with Kubica, had a bit of a collision, sort of punctured his tyre. Robert Kubica also had some problems with his car. Vettel tried to continue, he spun, crashed his car, so did Kubica. That was Vettel's first race up and run. In April 2009, he won his first race with Red Bull in China. It was also the Red Bull's first 1-2, with Webber coming second. Brilliant race for them. And that was when he said, right, I'm here to win, and you know, I'm battling for this World Championship my first year. I'm not a rookie anymore. I am potentially a multiple world champion, maybe one, maybe two. Who knew how many he would win at the time? And yeah, so from that day on, Vettel's first win out of 38 wins for Red Bull. He won 38 races, 44 pole positions in 5 years. That is phenomenal currently. But whether he win another race for Red Bull from now to the end of the season, I don't know. Got 3 races left in 2014. I don't know if he'll win another one. I really doubt it. Or with pole positions, so that could be his Red Bull career with pole positions just over. So yeah, in 2009 he won 4 races. He won China, Britain, Japan, and Abu Dhabi. He won the first Abu Dhabi Grand Prix in really good style. He didn't win the World Championship. He came second, just behind Jenson Button. It could have been Vettel's, but Brawn and Button were dominant at the start of the season, and Vettel didn't really have enough pace to catch up with him towards the end of the season. When Button was finished second and third here, Vettel was here, there and everywhere. Excuse me. Yeah, 2009 ended pretty much on a high for Red Bull. It was the first proper season, you know. The start of 2005, 2008, they were sort of midfield team. They had potential, they had money. 2009 came in, they sort of said, right, this is the car we're going to have. This is sort of the prototype of the RBR7. Sorry, the RBR6. This is what next season's car is going to be pretty much similar like, and this is what's going to win the World Championship. 2010 came along and he did just that. In probably one of the closest seasons we've seen in Formula 1. 19 races, Vettel won 5 of them. He won Malaysia, Europe, Japan, Brazil, and Abu Dhabi. So far, he's won all the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. So far in 2010, absolutely killed Bahrain, more or less. He dominated Bahrain till about the end, towards the end of the race. Alonso overtook him because Vettel had a spark plug failure. He was kicking off about that. He wasn't so happy about that. It was also Alonso's first race for Ferrari. He overtook him. Then Massa overtook him for Ferrari 1-2, and then Lewis Hamilton overtook him in McLaren at the time. So not a good start to the season for Red Bull and Sebastian Vettel. Along came Australia, the second race, and then again that wasn't really a solid performance. Jenson Button dominated that race. He won that race. Vettel needed to start scoring points now. He needed to start to stamp his authority early in the season. If he wanted to make a mark on the title, he had to do well at the start of the season. He didn't really do that, but he sort of picked up the pace towards the end when Webber, Alonso, Hamilton, Button sort of collapsed the joints at the last hurdle, fell at the last hurdle. Vettel came along and took everything from them, took the championship and the constructors. Also, if you remember, 2010 was a dominant year for Red Bull in terms of pole positions. Vettel got 10 of them. He got 10 out of 19 pole positions. He got, at one stage, he got 4 in a row. That was pretty impressive. So everyone knew that Vettel was quick on a one-lap race, one-lap session, but in converting them into wins in podiums and scoring points was a little bit of an issue, because you had the pace of the McLarens and the Ferraris, who were very, very quick at the time and could catch up with the Red Bulls, unlike now. So really, if you look back at it and you think, that was there with the retro days. So yeah, Abu Dhabi came along. It was going 4 ways. Realistically, it was only down to 3. Vettel, Alonso, Webber. Button was out of the running long before that. Hamilton had to win the race and everyone else to score no points. So Hamilton had a slight chance, but obviously realistically he wasn't going to win it. So it was a 3-horse race. Webber and Alonso were battling at the back with Kubica. Kubica not letting Alonso pass. Alonso said that he cost him his world championship. Vettel stormed to the win, waiting. Finally, he got his first world championship in there. Staggering performance throughout that season. You know, Red Bull stamped their authority in Formula 1, made themselves known, made Vettel known that he can win races and he is here to win world championships. He won the first world championship. Red Bull's first constructors they won in Brazil, the race before that. But yeah, this is a brilliant season for Vettel. He had to win this world championship to make himself known in Formula 1 that he's here to win races, he's here to win world championships. Same with Red Bull, that they can compete with the likes of Ferrari as well, you know. So yeah, Red Bull was sort of like the junior team who just came, surprised everybody. You know, Red Bull were that team that were like, oh, you know, look at them. They're good in that, but they're not going to be like us, like the McLarens and Ferraris. 2010 came along, Ferrari and McLaren were like, whoa, we take back everything we said about you guys. So yeah, that was in 2010. 2011 came along, and Vettel finally, he's won a race at the start of the season with Red Bull. Australia, 2011, he won the race. Who knew? What's going on here? You know, he's won the first race of the season with Red Bull in like 2009, 2010, where he didn't score any points. Well, he scored points at Bahrain, but he didn't win it. He didn't get a podium. So yeah, this is a little bit of a shock straight away. So yeah, he won the first 2 races in Australia and Malaysia. He didn't win China. Sort of like Turkey, Spain, Monaco came along. He won consecutive races. Then sort of mid-season, he went a bit quiet. You know, Canada, especially ever since that Canada race, when Jenson Button came from the back of the grid to beat him to finally win a race in that season. When Vettel lost the car on the last lap, I remember watching that race. That was a fantastic race, my favourite race I've ever seen. And then he went a little bit quiet. Alonso won the British Grand Prix. Button, Hamilton won. Then Vettel sort of picked up the pace towards the end of the season. Then he won the World Championship, clean sweep out of everyone else. Also, he won. He got 15 out of 19 pole positions. What a story that is! You know, that is a record that everyone wants in Formula 1. Brilliant on a one-lap race, as we've all seen in 2010. Same again in 2011. He absolutely tortured qualifying, you know, 15 pole positions in one season. Wow. He also got 11 race wins, more, like, loads more than 2009 and 10 put together. That was just awesome what he did in that season. You know, just killed every race and just tortured it right. In 2011, these 11 races he's won. He's won Australia, Malaysia, Turkey, Spain, Monaco, Europe, Belgium, Italy, Singapore, Korea, India. I hope he's all kept up with that, because I've just had to read it all, a big list. It just took up half a page I've had it written down. So yeah, he won his second World Championship. Jenson Button was second place. He was 122 points behind Vettel. He was the only person that would catch him, but come Japan, Vettel won the race. Button came, sorry, no, Vettel came second and Button came first. Button won that race. Vettel came second. I've had to just scramble my words there, because I thought Vettel won the race, because obviously he won the World Championship there, so I keep thinking he won the race, but he didn't. So yeah, Button won the race, Vettel came second. Vettel wins the World Championship. Brazil came along the last race of the season. He didn't win the race. He had a problem. He had to let Webber through. Same with Abu Dhabi. He crash, puncture. Hamilton won that race. So towards the end of the season, he was a bit like off form. But apart from that, yeah, absolutely dominant season. And that was where he sort of stamped his authority in Formula 1. You know, 2 World Championships so far. Who knew in 2011 that everyone was thinking, what else can he do in Formula 1, yeah? So yeah, that concludes part 1 of this from 2009 to 2011. Part 2 will be uploaded and recorded and uploaded again today, along with my American Grand Prix review. I hope you stay tuned for part 2. I hope you like part 1. For any Red Bull fans, I hope I've explained well, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you will watch part 2. So yeah, thank you for watching this the Sebastian Vettel Red Bull career review, and I'll see you in part 2.